Hey folks, this is the Propelio Academy, the insurance course. I'm James Jenkins, your host for the festivities here. This is episode 7. We are talking all about risk transfer strategies for real estate investors. If you have been watching from episode 1 through to episode 7, some of this is going to be a duplicate of what you've already heard, but we're going to go into a little bit more detail here. So let's jump right in. Risk transfer strategies for real estate investors. First off, I am not your attorney. Please don't take what I'm saying as legal advice. Please consult your attorney. So the first one is an indemnification agreement. Indemnification is a fancy insurance word for to make whole. It makes you just like you were before the loss or claim happened. Next is going to be a hold harmless agreement. We've talked about this before. Let's go into a little bit more detail. There are 3 basic categories of hold harmless agreement, and they get progressively broader in the coverage that they provide. A limited hold harmless agreement is going to apply only in the sole and exclusive negligence of the party that is receiving the coverage. So if there's only negligence, if the party receiving the hold harmless agreement is 100% at fault, then they will have full coverage from the hold harmless agreement. Next is going to be the intermediate hold harmless agreement, which extends coverage to contributory negligence, is the term that we use. And what that means is both parties share in the fault. Both parties were negligent to some degree. In that case, an intermediate hold harmless agreement would still be defending the party that is receiving that coverage. Remember, a hold harmless agreement is one party is agreeing to hold another party harmless. And in a limited hold harmless agreement, that party is agreeing to hold harmless for their own exclusive liability and negligence. And in an intermediate hold harmless agreement, that party is agreeing that even if there's contributory negligence on both sides, where both parties are at fault, the party issuing the hold harmless agreement is still agreeing to hold the other party at fault, even though they were partly at fault. So it's a little confusing, but just remember, it's kind of like a continuum. On the one end, you've got this party is fully at fault, and that's limited. Then the next one is both parties are kind of at fault together. That's intermediate. Broad is, hey, you know what? I know that you are, I know, yeah, I just confused myself there. Broad is when the other party is 100% at fault, but you're still holding them harmless, which means that the party that is issuing the hold harmless agreement is kind of getting screwed if they are issuing a broad hold harmless agreement, because the other party is 100% at fault, but they're still being held harmless. The person who's issuing the hold harmless agreement is basically saying, yeah, I know this is entirely your fault, but I'm still going to hold you harmless. So it's kind of crazy. Make sure that you understand the language of the hold harmless agreement. And just so you know, most companies will not issue a broad hold harmless agreement, because what do you know? The coverage is too broad. They don't like that for some reason. I wonder why. So next is waiver of subrogation. We've covered this at length in other episodes. Check this out if you want to have more detail about it. Waiver of subrogation is simply where you are waiving the rights of your insurance company to pursue damages against another party that they paid out. Basically, a contractor was at fault, but your insurance company can't go after them to collect damages. Last is going to be additional insured status for both ongoing and completed operations. Again, we talked about that in a previous episode, so check it out if you want to hear more about additional insured status, where you are basically receiving the coverage of an insurance policy without being the first named insured and not being the one who pays for it. And we said it before, we said it in episode 5, but please make sure you always use a written contract and a scope of work. Because if there's no written contract and no scope of work, the chances are very small that you're going to be able to collect anything from an insurance company. They don't like verbal agreements or handshake agreements. They don't play that game. So make sure you're always using a written scope of work. If you have questions about this subject, contractual risk transfers, you can either contact your attorney or you can visit our website and schedule a no-cost, no-sales pitch conversation with yours truly. Please visit us at jjairm.com/consultation. I will look forward to talking with you further at that time. This is the Propelio Academy Insurance Course. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you soon.